The best way to reprogram the lower consciousness, people call it a subconscious. I don't really like the term subconscious because that means a lower level of consciousness. To me, it's an alternate conscious state that's always active, which means it's not sub at all. But in order to get that reprogrammed, one has to take the steps to open up for divine mind to come in to rearrange whatever imprints that are not of a divine nature. That's done through prayers, decrees, affirmations, meditations, basically practicing and applying the four main yogas of devotion, discernment, discipline, and servitude. As one builds up momentums in those areas, one's ego gets lessened and merged, the ego being the main veil that eases God out, keeps one from accepting those divine imprints into their four lower bodies, so the four lower bodies are more in alignment. Without the lower aspects of the spiritual or astral bodies and the astral counterparts of the mental, emotional, physical being not being in alignment, you don't have as much conductivity, conduity, and the divine imprintation is a trickle instead of a large tube. Teachers, avatars, come here to show what can be done. Avatars, of course, to a greater degree, but even teachers can grow to the point of avataric nature where they're more awakened aspects of divinity, especially when they grow to the point where they become unfed flames, have full emergence and things like that. By them setting a precedent, a standard, a momentum, other beings around them are able to tap into those momentums. Plus, those momentums are made available by that teacher or avatar to help those beings who are willing to go grow and glow even more. Basically, you can take a canoe analogy with one person paddling, it'll reach a certain momentum, but then you add like a bona fide spiritual master to that momentum, and it's like putting a small engine on that canoe, and it speeds up dramatically. People need to be willing to have the patience, once they get the canoe turned around, to build up those spiritual muscles and learn how to feel, see, and hear those divine emanations and allow them to grow within, which is part of the momentum building process too. Then it ripples out and they too affect somebody else. Without patience, though, a person gets discouraged. Without the perseverance, they get discouraged. They try to run out after some emotional experiences and do a bunch of work first, without first focusing on themselves, filling up their own cup, allowing it to overflow. So they run around with quarter-filled, half-filled cups, thinking they're doing something, and they're not.
Okay.
I'd like for people to pick up a Webster's dictionary and read the definition of society. At that point, they would realize that what's basically going on is an unsociety, because a society is a group of people working towards the benefit for the highest, greatest good God of all, not for the highest, greatest good God of one. The egoic arrogance that's running amok right now, people think we live in a society. They need to wake up. They can look around and debunk themselves. All they need to do is take the time to look at the news, read the newspaper, see what's going on, and see the effects of unsociety. The Quakers have a true society. The passive American Indians had a true society. This country, before the industrial age and corporate regimes and egoic emanations running amok at one time, had a society and pockets of societies. The more people's capital I's run around thinking only of themselves, the more you're going to have an unsociety, because you're having a bunch of I's instead of the you and I and we are one attitude. For as one grows, we all grows. As our conductivity and conduity go, grow, and glow and get larger, we receive more and more divine energy. God's the doer of all things, so therefore all things are possible. Too many people think that they are the doers. That's them allowing the ego to run amok. And at that point, the divine isn't even a doer, because the divine can stop something as much as start something. So the divine allows, so therefore the divine is a doer. In the immortal words of the avatar of our age, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, God gives us the materials, the air, the energy, the body, the forms, the divine consciousness. So what makes us think we're the doers is the ego. The only thing we truly own on this plane of existence are the choices we make. The choices we make are a garland that go around our neck of actions from live stream to live stream, and they can either be of a God-qualified nature, which means we balance karma and grow to the point where we break the transitory cycles of birth and rebirth, or they weigh us down so we keep embodying again and again and again and again until we decide to make stands and change. It's real important and imperative that that momentum building process doesn't backslide. With any new beginnings, with any type of new momentums that are being introduced, it's real important that diligence and perseverance are always a part of that, because people can get excited in the beginning and then get bored. As one internalizes more of that energy, one builds momentums, and as those changes take place and those new beginnings start, the more apt to build on themselves, the way a snowball turns into a boulder as it goes downhill. It can be a precarious place for some, but that's why there's always going to be avatars and teachers and beings to lend a hand and help out. Major healing that needs to take place after the individual gets into alignment, as I spoke of earlier, the four lower bodies, the lower aspects of the spiritual, the mental, emotional, and physical, then that person, being part of a solution, can go ahead and learn how to work with the elemental kingdoms, and sending out the violet flame of transmutation, the green ray of healing, the white ray of purity, balance, divinity, and love, basically using the seven rays. And as a person takes the time to do that, they build up a lot of good karma and open themselves up as conduits of more divine energy, so even more energy can flow, basically turning their thread or cord into a tube, gradually into a bigger tube. And then when they've earned the right of ascension, their tube's 7 to 9 feet in diameter. And the next goal after that is, becoming the unfed flame, where you're being fed strictly on the inner planes. All these are steps of growth that can and are accomplished by people who are willing to go through whatever's necessary. Basically, forsaking the things of the world and worldly momentums and striving to live in divine will. First has to start with moderation, and then basically scaling down. The Buddha taught it most eloquently when he talked about the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Holy Path. I can give large discernments in all those. So what I'm just going to do is just say, investigate for yourselves the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Holy Path, and learn to incorporate them into yourselves. It is the Buddhist path of enlightenment. It is the same things that Baba's teaching nowadays, that Ram and Krishna have taught before. They all have the same message. They word it a little differently per their students, per their apostles, per the times. It's all the same thing. Basically, desire is the cause of suffering. As one eliminates desire except for the one true desire of soul evolution and growth and ascension, one's going to be causing suffering within themselves and others. And even that one true desire eventually has to be let go of, because how can you desire something you have obtained? Light is God's love and information. That being a truth, light is a seed of God, love, and information. If the individual takes the time to make themselves fertile soil, then that divine seed grows. Seeds fall on everybody. If a person is a boulder and realizes they are a boulder and do the steps necessary to crush that rock and turn it into finer material that the seed can work into, then take the time to add nutrients to that dust and water to turn it into a soil, then growth is going to occur there. But if the boulder, ego, remains a boulder, then nothing is going to change there. It's up to the individual. All are called, few are chosen. The individual does the choosing to become what type of soil to allow the divine to grow within them. God wants everybody. People choose whether or not they want to be. After using the tools on this video and gaining some growth, if you'd like to grow even further, then please feel free to get in touch with me. I love to hear from all my students and all the people who are getting good results from this video. I will always take the time to stay in touch with each of you. Thank you for the work that you're doing, for as one grows, we all grow. Namaste.